Here. So connected to S9 Plus. Connected secure. Okay, getting better. Getting better. Okay. Should be okay here. Yeah. Okay, we're getting better. It gets back to bad quite quickly. This is weird. That output is good, but the bit rate is slow. 2000 kilobits per second is slower than normal. Speed test. Speed test. Yeah, it's really bad. Do you have do you have Wi-Fi here? Can we connect to your internet? No, I stream on my phone.
Oh, yeah, you can get into it.
It's Harvey.
And password Quivers, QUIVERS1. QUIVERS1. There we go. Thank you. You're welcome.
Hopefully it's going to be better. I think oh, here we go. We're getting good.
What women do on men, I know. It has nothing to do with his hair, they just shave his hair off. I said, find a gay male hairdresser who do a better job because it's in his interest to make you look good.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We are now live and everything should be okay. Bonjour et bienvenue. Welcome. Ni hao, guten tag, and all the rest. This is the special live show coming from the Canadian International DX BBQ. And we are in Greenfield Park, Quebec. And of course, there's a lot of people around. There's a lot of stuff happening. There are people taking pictures. And we are live, of course, for the third year. This is the third year, actually, that we are live. And hope that you guys will enjoy the show. This is Mike.
Hi.
Hi.
Go Jays, go.
So, of course, we are here to talk about the Canadian International DX Club. And we'll have a few guests, a few people we'll talk about. Sheldon is going away because he doesn't want to talk to anyone. Of course, we are here having fun. It's okay, then, you know, we were scared about the rain. It's kind of close, but it's not there, and let's just hope that it's not going to rain. We'll do the live show.
Hope for the best.
Hope for the best.
Radios.
Yeah, and the guy has radios. He always has radios, anyways. I'm actually always drooling at his ICOM ICR 8600, which is kind of a nice radio. And yeah, we got some radios. We got some. We had some hamburgers, some hot dogs, and chatting about radio and life in general. And there are some people here that are in the chat room and that you know, are at the barbecue, and that's kind of cool, meeting up with people that, you know, I'll have a face now, and they are, of course, you know, I always say that the chat room, the people are great, and meeting in person, I can confirm that they're even better. So it's very simple as that. So I hope everybody will enjoy today's show. I want to say hi. There's a beautiful chat room, of course, with wonderful people, and I want to show that. So, okay, Mickey,
Yeah.
I am always baffled. I want you to pronounce your last name for me.
Oh, Delmage.
Delmage, because I always say it in French, like Delmage.
Delmage?
And I say it in French, Delmage, but it's Delmage. So he brought a shortwave beer from British Columbia.
Here, we gotta switch out Mike for Mickey. Mike, get up like
Yeah,
Mickey,
we'll switch. We'll
Mickey gets sit down.
Yeah, we'll switch from.
We'll discuss the beer
And we'll come back to you, Mike, in a short while, and we'll talk about. So you've been traveling, of course, across Canada.
That I have. I'm back again for the third year
So thanks for the beer.
Yes.
You know what? I'm not opening it today. I will open it next Friday because there's something else also that I'm not going to talk about, but I will mention it because Brian Penny has brought me a nice gift that was something missing, honestly, for the live shows, and it'll be there, and we'll discuss that also. And I'll open this beer at the same time. I think all needs to be done together in the live show. So, what you been up to?
Well, traveling across the country again this summer. But,
Any radio? When you travel, do you listen to radio everywhere, or you just travel?
Unfortunately, on this trip, I haven't turned it on very much.
Okay.
And I should.
Okay.
But I do carry it with me.
You do carry it.
But you know, I listen to radio all the time, every day.
Okay.
So
Okay.
always reporting.
Yeah, I know you have.
And well, I think of it. I must say congratulations to Glenn Hauser, who is 5 programs away from 2,000.
2000.
2,000.
Oh man, Glenn Hauser, 2005. So this week is what? 1985?
This is 1980. 1996 is.
96.
week.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But Glenn has been a great supporter of the hobby and a friend of CIDX.
He's been picking up a lot of stuff from the bulletin actually in the last months.
He has. He actually has been, you know, using your column and my column, and any columns from CIDX Messenger. So, congratulations, Glenn, if you're watching.
Yep, absolutely.
Fantastic job. Thanks for the support all the years. I can't believe you've been doing this that many years. You still have the energy to do the program
and you know,
and
this is
every week.
And it's the amount of work also in that program with all the information the guys got is just crazy.
Yep.
And I mean, it's a must listen to every week. World of Radio. And of course, worldoфradio.com if you guys want to go and check it out. He has all the shows are there. He's got something called the DX Listening Digest, which is also really, really cool. And so worldoфradio.com is to...
one time he did World Radio program in English and Spanish. He had
he had a Spanish
Digest.
one, right? He had a Spanish one, I remember.
Continent of Media was another program he did.
Yep. The guy is busy with radio. And radio-related news.
And it's so accurate.
Yeah,
He keeps
absolutely.
us,
Absolutely.
You know,
And he keeps correcting us, you know, like, no, it was not that, it was this. And it's okay, I mean,
absolutely.
we want to have the perfect information all the time, and that's perfect.
Absolutely.
That's perfect.
That's right.
I still remember when he had a show on a Halloween night many years ago, and the, you know, by chance, the number of that show was 666. I still remember it. Halloween night, 666. Yeah, okay.
Excellent.
That must have been planned for sure.
And you, what have you been up to?
What I've been up to, doing YouTube shows. Can you believe it? I do YouTube live shows currently.
Yes.
And I've been up to listening a lot. I've been enjoying my new W6LVP loop antenna that has kind of gave me a new look into the hobby because it helps me listen to stuff that I couldn't hear for a while. And you know, life goes on.
Absolutely.
Pretty much. Hey, I need to go out west.
Thank you for doing this show. This is really
it's important for me to do this. It's kind
fun.
of fun.
Again, you know, look at all the people watching right now around the world.
Yeah, and
awesome.
You are part of CIDX also.
Yes,
you are.
I am. I've been with CIDX since probably 1980.
And you are on the west side of board of directors or something like that?
Yeah, I'm vice president.
Vice president. Okay.
Behind the President Sheldon.
President Sheldon.
Then one of the other vice presidents, Michelle.
Oh yeah.
Gilles Michaud is here, and
that's cool.
Nigel's probably watching out in the Medicine Hat, Dunmore area of Alberta.
Cool. So, let's just check out the chat room a little bit.
Yeah, see who's
there. So Bobby Burgess in Louisiana, Neil Toombs in the UK. Louis, nice to have you on board. Jack in 9IIF, nice to have you here. He's the guy behind the wonderful gift of Yisu FT450. Matambali in Colorado. Calvin, nice to have you here, my friend. Richard Cook in the UK. We have PLF Radio in France. Bonjour, bienvenue. Nous sommes à Greenfield Park. Ça se traduit pas en français vraiment. Le parc, le parc du champ vert. Greenfield Park. Kimberly, K6YYL from California. Hope your cat is fine. Rufus Newt, nice to have you here from Ontario. Keegan, nice to have you on board from Northwest Arkansas. Rob, nice to have you on board. Levy Nathan, nice to have you here. Stephen Hayes, nice to have you on board, Steve, G0STE. What do we have? Roberto Rojas, nice to have you on board, my friend. Mark Ledford, nice to have you on board from Texas, and I lost where I was. And so what else we have? Ron Deming, nice to have you here. Jersey bound from New Jersey, nice to have you on board. Alan W, nice to have you on board from Ireland. David Green, hey, nice to have you here. Annie Colley, nice to have you on board. Callum too, nice to have you here, Callum. FB Lassie, nice to have you here, my friend from Oakland, California, I believe. I'm starting to know where everybody lives by heart. Wilbur Forstier, nice to have you here. Forstier, I don't know if you got the pronunciation. In South Jersey, nice to have you here. Reb from from Turkey. AP2FLY from Pakistan, nice to have you here. Robert Babcock in Connecticut. We have Elton Byington in Baltimore, K3JWA. Lee Burkett in the UK, nice to have you here.
Who's that, Eric?
There's an Eric Cottrell in the chat room. Who's that guy?
Maybe no WWE.
No WWV at the barbecue, just CHU. You know, when you cross the border, WWV stops existing.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought I'd do the same thing as last year. If I see any frequency spots, we can try them here, just like you do.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Don Warner, nice to have you here. Let me just check out the camera. We are a little oversaturated, but hey, it's going to be okay.
Sun's coming out.
Sun's coming out. Girolamo Savonarola, nice to have you here from Finland. Dartsman, nice to have you on board. I always lose my spot somewhere. Okay. What else do we have? Anybody? D1DJK, nice to have you on board from Germany. Yes, Greenfield Park is to the southeast, kind of the island of Montreal. It's actually very close to Montreal.
It's actually east of Montreal.
Yeah, it's kind of southeast.
More east than south, actually.
More east than south, yeah. Yeah, when you look at the way that the island is done, yeah, absolutely. Totally right. Prasad Asoldekar, this is the first time I've joined the live show. It's 1:45. I am in Goa, India.
Oh, wow.
Nice to have you here.
Nice.
I've been viewing your shows offline. Your show is excellent with lots of info. Thank you very much. I hope everybody enjoys. I'm here for that, actually. Having fun. Let me just kind of lost a little bit here. Okay. Anybody that I missed? We have Electric Rider. Nice to have you here. Unpopcom. Electric Rider is in Moncton. Unpopcom from Central Pennsylvania. We have Brian, Iowa. Nice to have you here. John Onken, awesome live chat. Nice to have you here. Terry Cook, nice to have you here. Max Headstrong, nice to have you here from Michigan, USA.
Let me know when you want another guest, Jill. I'll bring somebody else.
We will. I'm down, so
we're going to bring the numbers up here soon.
Jay Jolie, hey, Jean-Marc in downtown Montreal. Paul is not here. We have actually a dog called Killer, which is replacing Paul today. So Big Bench Hanton, Al Franken. The Expeditions, nice to have you on board from Ottawa. Pretty cool. Nice to have everybody here. So anything you want to add? Mickey?
No, no, we'll come back later and
Chris,
Mickey Delmage.
says
Mickey Delmage. Delmage.
Delmage. I like the French version.
Yeah.
Mickey Delmage.
Chris
It
says
sounds.
hello.
That's the only reason they let him in Quebec.
That's right.
Chris
Crosses the
Lobdell
Ontario-Quebec
says-
border
So
and
it
says,
should,
I'm Delmage.
Should be Michelle then, eh? Michelle Delmage.
Yeah, well, there used to be a
Shortwave Gazer from New Jersey. Nice to have you here.
Chris Lobdell says hello
Oh,
to
hi,
me.
Chris.
Hey, Chris, how's it going? You know us all?
Chris.
A lot of us. Here comes.
Pretty cool.
Hi, Chris.
Cool.
Okay.
Eric the Jagger, nice to have you here from the UK.
Hi, Chris.
Yeah.
Chris.
Here. You guys
Okay.
want to see?
All right.
Yeah. You guys want to see a little bit? So, who's next? Who's next? Mike?
Chris Lobdell.
Want to be next? That's okay. We'll just replace.
I guess we're sitting there, and then I
Just
have to
replace
move.
it. It's
So
a
want
little.
to do a quick, want to do another quickie interview.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So, Mike Brooker,
Hey.
nice to have you here.
Yeah.
You're from Toronto, right?
Yep. Yep.
And so, what's new? What have you been doing in radio recently?
Well, got a new little XH Data D808, which is not officially sold in North America.
Yeah.
Got it on eBay from a seller in Australia.
Yeah.
And
Those wondering.
cost me, well, yeah,
That's the thing that
that's it there, yeah.
Mike is talking about. And so, you've been enjoying it?
Yeah, it's quite a good little radio.
What other radios do you have?
I've got a C Crane Skywave, which is sort of what the XH Data is based on. They reversed engineered it, added a few extra features and whatnot.
Okay.
And because of that, C Crane was going to threaten some major legal action if it was sold in the U.S. and Canada.
Really?
So they,
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, wow.
they stole a factory in China.
Okay.
Stole a lot of in patent infringement stuff. And I've got a little ultralight radio, which is a tiny, well, it's actually like a Walkman type radio. It's about,
Okay.
and the unusual thing about it is it was made by Sony, and it was intended for use in prison. So it's a clear plastic body.
Okay.
So that way, like, the inmates can't hide drugs or contraband
Oh, really?
inside the
Okay.
radio.
Okay.
And it's just AM, FM, no digital. You know, it's a very simple, but it's quite a powerful DX machine. Except that you need very nimble fingers to frequency.
Okay. Cool.
It really punches above its weight.
What's your main listening?
Well, it's AM speaker radio. So my old standby, the standard by which all medium wave DX portables are judged, is a 1978 Panasonic RF2200.
Okay.
And that's still, for my money, the best AM
The best
DX.
AM DX.
Yeah.
You're a lot of
Yeah,
AM
I'm
DX,
mostly
right?
a medium wave DX.
Yeah.
They'll do some shortwave, not as much as I used to.
Any interesting DX you did recently on the medium wave band?
Well, I actually did a little bit of listening early this morning from downtown Montreal. Nothing really great.
Okay.
WPRO 630 Providence.
You ever heard Cuba on the medium wave band?
Not recently, but I have in the past.
I was so surprised last, I don't know, was it this spring? I was so surprised to actually receive Radio Rebelde on the medium wave band. I didn't even think it was possible, especially in a big city.
To get them all the time, 640, I think it's one of the frequencies they use.
Are you very central Toronto, or is it very noisy?
It's down, just north of downtown.
Okay.
There's all kinds of noise. If it's power lines, if it's computers, modems,
Okay.
all kinds of poorly shielded electrical devices.
Okay.
And if it's not mine, there'll be some neighbor's stuff.
Yeah, that's always a big problem. A lot of the noise that we get actually isn't created in our homes. It's created by the neighbors or with other ways that we don't have any control over.
And a lot of this noise is not shut off. Your computer's probably running all the time. Your modem is running basically 24/7.
Yeah. Cool.
You know what? I'm gonna do what I can.
Cool.
The DXing's not, you know, it's not like what it was like 40 years ago.
It is different. It's very, very different.
There's stuff I heard, you know, 40 years ago, 30 years ago. It's impossible now. And I almost never send for QSLs. I used to crank them out back in the day, back in the days before the internet.
Do you have a lot of medium wave?
Snail
Do you
mail.
have a lot of medium wave QSLs?
Yeah, about 600. I haven't counted.
Oh, wow.
I haven't counted them all.
You got hundreds.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Any plans for any DXing? Anything special?
Well,
You bought some radios with you,
though
right?
I'm actually the domestic DX East editor for NRC.
Okay.
So if you're
Well, it keeps you
if
busy.
you live in the Eastern Time Zone and you're a member of NRC, you know, send me your loggings.
Kind of give a little more details on the NRC, which is
NRC
the
is the National Radio Club. It's the oldest medium wave AM only DX club, founded in 1933. And they have a bulletin.
Cool.
It's printed 20 times
It's a printed
year.
bulletin?
Well, they're moving away to the electronic PDF format, so I think the print bulletin these days are numbered.
Okay.
It's called DX News, and it's been published for 85 years now.
Cool.
So it's the oldest club, and IRCA, International Radio Club of America, kind of is a spin-off of it.
Okay. Cool. So thanks for your time. We'll do a little, continue our look at other people.
Yeah, it's good to be back in
It's
Montreal
nice to
again.
see you. Nice to see you.
Go Jays, go.
What do you want up next there, Joe?
Might as well.
Anybody?
Might as well.
Anybody? You got some DX stuff to talk about?
Sure.
Why is it that every time it's your turn, the sun comes out and we always kind of look weird?
Well, that's
You know.
okay. We have
Sorry
to like
about that.
shift. We have to shift around to.
Yeah, let's get more cozy and personal. So, how about radio?
Yeah, radio, baby. I love radio. Baby.
I'm sure there's some people out there that are kind of jealous right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did I used to say when at the end of the show?
Oh yeah.
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 Let your radios turn you on.
Let your radios turn.
Well, I signed off the International Radio Report for years.
Yeah.
I was just trying to think of like what radio stuff to talk about. Well, I visited Santiago, Chile,
Okay.
Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Okay.
Did a day trip to Uruguay,
Okay.
and I always record the FM stations when I'm down there.
Okay.
And I was just finding on my phone, I have a Galaxy A9 Pro, which is a phone that I got paid for from China.
Okay.
But the cool part is I always choose a phone that has an FM radio on it
Oh yeah.
with the recording feature.
So you have tons of recordings in
So
there.
I have recordings, and not only if I can record
that.
it with the phone right off the FM, but when I'm flying, I was leaving Buenos Aires, flying to Panama, and pretty cool stuff, like flying, like, here's one that's pretty neat, over, say, Bolivia. See
Okay.
if we can hear what we can hear this. Where's the audio?
Wow, this is
Okay,
nice.
so there's 94.7,
Okay.
La Paz Radio Tropical from Bolivia. Now this is just with the FM radio on my phone, and you use the earphones as an antenna, and I'm up against, always get a window seat.
So that's from the plane.
This is from the plane.
Wow.
So you
this
can
is so cool.
you can DX and listen to radio from the plane. It's so cool. And the Google Maps shows where you're flying over, and you can hear really cool
Oh,
stuff.
this is nice.
Yeah.
This is really nice.
No, not a nice.
Sometimes the immigration authorities will anglicize the name for it. They can't pronounce
Instead of Radio Tropical.
Radio Tropical. So you got the
Nice.
ID and everything.
This is cool.
So this is a cool way that I found. Always get a cell phone that has an FM radio, terrestrial radio. You don't need Wi-Fi, you don't need the internet, and you can listen to all kinds of cool stuff flying over wherever you're flying over.
see a
Oh,
lot
where
of
was the
stuff in
one
here.
from? There was a cool one here from Colombia. So this is. So this is from 93.9 Caracol Radio, Bogota, Colombia.
This is cool. Oh, reception is so clear.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Have you ever tested how long you would receive a station when you're in the air?
Well,
Kind of,
yeah. Well, because of the way the FM signals are, you know, and the way they follow the circumference of the Earth, you could literally be hundreds of miles away.
Yeah.
I could be flying over the Amazon in Brazil and I'm getting a station from Colombia. It depends on the strength of the station.
And how high you're flying also.
How high you're flying, you're 33,000 feet.
Yeah.
So you calculate the strength of the radio station, the tower, the trajectory.
Okay.
So when you're flying over North America or anywhere, if you have a phone with an FM radio, just plug it in, and this one has the record feature, doesn't have the RDS. My old Galaxy S7 or whatever had the RDS, which is really convenient. But I caught some really cool stuff.
There's no apps that you can add?
Well, but if you have an app, then often it needs the internet and it needs Wi-Fi. You don't have any Wi-Fi internet when you're in the plane.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
There's no internet. So you have to rely on terrestrial radio.
There could have been an app that, like, you know, gets the signal and is able to tap into the RDS.
Yes, quite possibly. But this is just
Do you do some
from the air. Oh, it's from Uruguay.
Cool. Uruguay. It's kind of fun.
92.3.
That would be my kind of thing. Let's think to some FM stations in a plane.
Yeah, it's awesome. So
and
you don't
when you're over there, did you do some shortwave also?
Yeah, I have recordings on my old Sony mini disc. I love my old mini disc. I've had it for years, but it's just easy to use. I know the technology has evolved and there's all kinds of digital recorders.
As long as it works. That's the important thing.
It works. So I use my mini disc, but yeah, record AM, FM, shortwave. I didn't get Antarctica. I missed the Antarctica broadcast. I was there on the weekend and it's broadcast Monday to Friday and the times, because you have to compromise when you're traveling with people who aren't necessarily radio hobbies.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can't always be on your radios, and that's it.
But you know, I try and get a recording. Where's this one? Sunny in St. Croix.
Live life feeling great.
This is 99.5. Sunny in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands.
Almost any sporting event on any one of their 5 large HD TVs spanning the air-conditioned front of house to open-air courtyard out back. Test your skills and beat the top scores on the Golden Tee Machine, Ghostbusters, or Star Wars Pit.
Well, I got Nevis, St. Croix, British Virgin Islands.
You got a lot of recordings in there.
Oh, I got tons of recordings.
Do you put them online, or they're just kept there?
I don't put them online. What I do is when I go to the SWL Winterfest in Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania, right outside of Philadelphia. Every year we all go down there to the big conference, and I do a forum called Radio on the Road, where I present different recordings from the radio stations I've recorded when I travel around the world. I've been to 94 countries now.
94
the last trip
countries,
up to 94.
That's nice.
And I have pictures and I have video recordings, so I usually present the stuff at the forum. Although I'm sure there's pirated broadcasts of my forum presentation out there somewhere. Somebody recorded me. But no, you know, finding the time to put everything online, like, God bless you have the time to do this show, it's great.
No, it's my work.
And
so I gotta take the time to do it.
Well, yeah. But you're awesome at it. Everybody really appreciates you. Bring new life to the SWL listening hobby. And
Isn't
people
Sean
around
red?
the world.
A little red now.
I know, isn't he cute when he's red? Look at red, cute. Okay, so who's out there? We see the chat
so
feed.
Yes, let's check out anybody else that we have.
Anybody
let's
I know?
Just go back down a little bit where I was. So we saw Big Bench Anton.
There's Chris, I
Laudel.
know.
Stephen Wood, nice to have you
Anyone
here.
actually watching this?
DE. What?
Anyone actually watching us?
Oh yeah.
There's 102 people right now.
Hi everybody. So Janice Laws, I've been a member of CIDX since 1991.
Yeah.
We're figuring 28 years now.
Yeah. They're actually talking of the good old times when...
When I joined, I think I joined 86, 87.
I'm the token YL in the club. There's not many women in the club here.
Yes, Rufus, Palm Bay, no beer.
Hi guys. Anybody else I know out there?
What else do we have? Shortwave Gazer, nice to have you here. Pagemaster. Nice to have you on board. No planes here. It's not like my live show from my home in Rosemont yesterday, where planes are every 2.5 minutes.
Voyons, you should see in Dorval. I live in Dorval.
Yeah, I was told of your situation where you are.
Right under 6 left, right under the runway, 6 left.
Chris Laudo says, cool reception, Janice.
Hey guys.
And then we have
all right,
else?
So now John Fisher's coming up, the great
Joseph Ivankovich Jr. Hi, VOA Radiogram is here.
The great
Hello
DXer.
Hello from Kim Elliott in Arlington, Virginia.
Hi, Kim.
Hey, Kim.
I know Kim.
Kim Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kim Andrew Elliott. Hi.
Elizabeth, nice to have you here. Abbas Serojano, nice to have you here in Manila. Wow.
Oh, hi. All right, so we got to get John
Pretty
Fisher
cool.
from
Yes,
North
we got it.
Chelmsford. Come on up.
Yes, we got it.
Numbers
Talk
are
to him
going down.
about his QSL
Thank you,
collection.
Mickey.
Ask him how many ham QSLs he's got. Come on, John.
Okay,
You're up. Talk about radio.
Got it. Got you on.
Oh, cool. Ah.
So,
Hey, brother.
hey. Always nice to see you, man.
Always great to see
Always
you,
nice
too.
to see you. So, what have you been up to?
Oh, what have I been up to? Radio-wise, I've been playing around with the amateur radio. I've been DXing pirates on my Drake RA.
Okay. We were talking about an amazing QSL collection that you have
Oh, it's
a little earlier.
it's a nice one. I can't say it's amazing, but
It's amazing for me, you know. I mean,
have some,
amazing.
Well, I do
you know.
have some favorites in there. I've QSL'd shortwave stations, utility stations. This is all over the years. Medium wave, various hams. So I've got albums with all these things in them. And,
That's cool. Anything recent you've listened to, or any recent QSLs that are kind of interesting?
Recent QSLs, I got a batch from Radio Romania several months ago.
Okay.
And they were supposed to have a 5-year diploma. I've got
Yeah, you were talking about that.
5 years worth of Radio Romania QSLs, and I've got the 1-year diploma, the 3-year diploma. But I think the 5-year diploma, that all took place when they were having the budget cuts.
Okay.
So I've sent them a couple emails and postal mail,
That's
just
kinda
curious
sad.
about it, but no answer.
No answer.
By the same token, I've got one album that's full of beautiful QSLs from RRI. So
He was talking to me that he enjoys watching my YouTube videos where I have the stories
Oh, yeah.
behind the QSL cars that I own.
I love hearing the stories.
How many countries have you got QSL, John?
If you go by NASWA, I believe, I don't know, 210, give or take.
And how many ham countries have you got?
Wow.
Oh, I don't know, 71 maybe.
This is amazing.
Well, that's not,
It's quite amazing.
It is amazing.
For the antenna you're running, the power you're running.
Yeah, it's an indoor antenna, and I'm running 50 watts because I live in a condo. So
That is amazing. You know, this is a great
the antenna's
example.
It's up in the cathedral ceiling out in the living room.
This is a great example that with limited possibilities, you can still do a lot with radio. It is a really, really nice.
Oh no, it's a lot of fun, and
Sheldon was telling me the other day that he actually told me you should actually post some of the logs of the station you listen to in CIDX, because if you consider the fact that I live smack in the middle of a big city, it is quite amazing when you think about it, of all the stations I can actually pick up, considering the noise and all that's around there.
well, I hear you on the noise because I can't have an outdoor antenna for anything. And where I live, it's mixed residential industrial, and
There's a lot of noise there.
being on the top floor of a condo building, every time someone turns something on,
Oh yeah,
so,
it's
so
crazy.
You're fighting all that, but
Oh man.
I just try to surge ahead, and on the amateur side, if there's too much QRM on the HF bands, and I've got a whole pile of friends I can talk to on 2 meters.
Okay.
And we all get together nightly.
Cool.
There's one group called the Nightly Nut Net. We also, so some people think radio is a solitary hobby, but
Yeah.
we go out for dinner once a month. my local ham club, we have a breakfast every Saturday. Now, I don't go
that's
every
nice.
Saturday. I go twice a month.
It's definitely, you know, there's events like this also that bring
Yeah,
people.
events like this, the SWL Winterfest, which is an awful lot of fun. And,
Yeah. I'm working on it. I
you
get
got
people. I got tons of people saying you got to be at Shortwave Fest
Yeah.
next year. So I'm working on it, guys. Promise. I'm doing my best.
You would really enjoy it. You really would. And even on the ham side of things, there are quite a few hams that I've talked to that are shortwave listeners. One used to work at HCJB,
Wow.
and
This is
very
cool.
familiar with the shortwave hobby.
This is cool.
Another guy was stationed in the military, and he kept a handwritten medium wave log. Like when he was stationed in Thule, Greenland, all the stuff he DXed there, and just looking at that thing was unbelievable. And so it's not just strictly confined to ham radio.
Oh, that's cool.
It's all
Cool.
aspects.
You're there. You've been there what, almost every year?
At the Winterfest?
Yeah.
Just like a token.
Janice,
What?
when did we start going to the Winterfest?
Was it 94?
94, I
When we
think.
first met?
Either 94 or 95. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
94 I think it was. That means we've known each other 25 years,
Yeah,
John.
25 years.
Wow.
One of us has to remember.
Yeah.
It's Janice's job to remember.
Janice remembers everything.
Thank you, Eric.
We have the cumulative memory.
But I mean, through the radio hobby, besides all these great people, some I've known for 25 years. And Eric, I've known him for much longer.
Okay.
Because we also have BADX, Boston Area DXers,
Okay.
which is a shortwave
Group.
listening group.
Yep.
And
Or club.
we get together once a month and
And sometimes talk about radio as well.
sometimes talk about radio.
Sometimes it's optional.
Again, it's a lot
It's
of
almost
fun.
like this show, you know. There are times when I look at the show, I look back, and I'm like, well, we didn't talk about shortwave that much last night, actually.
No, it's fun. And I love coming up here to Quebec also, and friends up here, and trying all sorts of different ethnic restaurants and some old favorites, and I just love it up here.
Cool. This is fun, and it's fun to have you here too.
Oh, I tell you, it's great seeing
Really,
you.
really, really nice. I mean, always a enjoyable moment. It's like, you know, we need to have more of these occasions.
Oh, I know it. I
We
know
need to
it.
have more. So thanks for your little input here. It's nice to have you here.
Oh God, no problem.
And
I wouldn't miss it for the
about,
world.
how about Mr. Brian Penny? Would you like to come and say hi?
Come on, Brian.
I just tried to convince him. No.
He was like moving away slowly.
What color?
Take care, brother.
Take care.
Okay, I'll be talking to you after.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we have to have another one from the great state on.
What, have you given our secret away?
Not yet.
Up the ratings just went down.
Oh
So,
boy, another guy from Massachusetts.
Yeah?
So the secret's out.
Check out just 2 seconds here. Anybody else?
Is Matt in
Before we
there?
continue.
Is my buddy Matt? No, Chris is in there, I say. Hey, Chris.
Man Radio DXer is there.
I'll say hi to my lovely wife, Irene, who's
Cruz DXer.
watching at home on the 50-inch TV in the living room.
I always have a hard time when somebody says my face is on a 50-inch TV somewhere.
Well, we both have a face for radio.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Chris.
What else do we have? Then say hi just quickly. How long did it take to have QSLs from 210 countries?
What?
How long did
John.
it take to have your collection of 210 different countries?
Well,
Gracias.
I started in
Roughly.
1975, so I've been doing it since 75.
1975 until now.
Yep.
It's a question from PLF Radio in France.
Yeah, I just never stopped.
M. Cruz is from Mexico. Hello there, my friend. Danny, Shortwave Radio DX. Nice to have you here.
Hi,
anybody
X and
I've
A.
missed?
DXer.
Sir. So, Arthur's Alley Crafter's Kitchen. Nice to have you on board from Massachusetts.
Chris says hello to Brian.
David in Barcelona, Spain. Nice to have you here. So, pretty cool. So, there's a name in the chat room from time to time. Brian Penny. there's a guy apparently called Brian.
Actually, a human being.
And well, he's here. He's here. So what made you
drive all the way up from
up?
Cape Cod?
Yeah.
Well, my dear friend Sheldon, we've been friends for many, many decades. Been a CIDX member since 1973.
Okay.
The last barbecue I attended here at Sheldon and Darlene's home was in my wife Irene and I came up in 1995.
Wow.
And he has the
So it was
skills to prove it.
So it was about time I, now that I'm retired, I have the time and the means to do things like this. So as long as I'm able to, I will be here.
You got it.
And I have the proof that I was here in 1995 because I brought with me 60 Canadian dollars of the, I guess, 2 generations ago.
Okay.
Paper money.
Paper money.
Not the plastic money. So Sheldon graciously took that off my hands, and we did a little exchange last night.
Okay. Radio-wise, what do you do most radio-wise?
Now I listen mostly to pirates.
Okay.
Love pirate broadcasting because you never know.
You never know
what you're going to hear, when you're going to hear it.
It's a surprise.
And it's all free radio, and I believe that the airwaves are underutilized, and these guys,
absolutely.
If they're going to be on the spectrum, pumping out music or shows, then it's awesome. And there's a lot of us out there that listen to pirate radio.
Yep, absolutely. I love pirate radio. It's always something that every night I think there's at least a part of my listening night that is always, well, any pirates around, let's search. There's HF Underground to help us with that.
HF Underground is great. It's a great resource if you're into pirate broadcasters, and people should use it. And they also have a rocket chat there that you can join and
absolutely
bounce ideas off of some of the listeners.
That's cool.
And let's see, thanks to you and your utility column, I've started. I had a blast I think it was last fall, doing the slow scan TV from the International Space
Scan
Station.
TV, yeah.
So I was fortunate enough to have downloaded a number of those.
Oh, this is cool.
Pretty cool stuff.
It's part of the things I want to try to do also is kind of promote also different aspects of our hobby. I mean, there's so many things to listen to, so many things to do. And when somebody tells me, you talk about that, and I was curious, and I actually started, looking into it.
And with the digital modes, there's just so much that I have not.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff
discovered.
There's a lot I have not discovered, and I want to work more on that too.
And there's so many software programs, a lot of good ones. I like to keep it simple.
Yeah.
The KISS syndrome. Because if you find a program that works for you, then use it. You don't need to complicate matters and get all overwhelmed. Because I think, personally, I can get pretty much overwhelmed with the digital modes, even though I spent my entire career in IT.
Yeah.
So it's
and it's interesting. I think it brings another passion. I mean, if you worked in IT, obviously it's because somewhere you probably enjoyed, everything that has to do with computers and that technology. And so if you bring radio and computers together, it's kind of cool.
And it kind of joins things together.
Absolutely.
One thing, I started downloading weather facts.
Weather facts,
which is pretty cool.
Oh, that is cool.
I mean, sometimes it takes forever and a day to download it, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, sometimes they're all messed up or crooked, or you're like, what the hell's happening? But when you're succeeding and you get a really nice one, it's like, wow, this is cool.
I've also I still QSL.
Okay.
Unique in the fact that I actually send a letter with a stamp.
Oh wow!
And go to a post office.
That still exists.
And the people at the post office look strangely at me when I ask for. In the States, we have an international stamp, and they don't sell a whole heck of a lot of them. But they send them. But they sell them to me. But I think the stations enjoy it. I usually put a postcard from Massachusetts in it, and you know, so because I know we've in the chat on your show we have talked about how people complain in general anyway.
Yeah.
But that there aren't any stations at QSL. Well, there's a heck of a lot.
No, there's a lot of them.
I just got one today. My wife just sent me from WHRI. Yeah, I know you may not get excited about it, but it's a QSL. You know.
QSL.
But then, what? About a month or two ago, I got that QSL from Voice of North Korea.
Yeah.
Out of the blue.
That's a good one. That one I want to have.
Out of the blue.
I don't have that, and I'm jealous on that one.
Yeah.
What's your equipment do you use?
I have a JRC NRD 525,
Okay.
which I love. I have a Kenwood R2000.
Okay.
I have a ham rig. I have a ham ticket. It's a TS 2000.
Okay.
But the game for me changed last year when I got the SDR Play, and I know how much you like yours.
Oh yeah, I like mine.
And last year I got a SDR Play 2, RSP2, I think it was.
Okay.
And then when they came out with the Duo, I got the Duo and love it.
Cool.
And I just recently purchased the Perseus because I've always wanted one, and I have not had time.
You don't have time
really
to test it much.
use it.
And the antenna you're using is?
I have that. I know you just got a loop, but I bought the MFJ 1866 receiving loop antenna.
Okay.
It's a knockoff. It's a knockoff of the Wellbrook.
The Wellbrook, okay.
It was like $270 US.
Okay.
And I like it. It works for me. I have it on a rotor.
That's important.
And I was gonna this summer. I had plans to get it up even higher, but then I'm like, I read all these technical that it doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter much.
Mag loop.
Yeah.
So you can have them on the ground or 20 feet up in the air.
Mostly as far away from the home and the sources of noise is pretty much what you want, but higher up doesn't necessarily mean better.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that works for me. You know, and I'm in a really fortunate, I'm in a really quiet location, except for the summer when Cape Cod explodes with tourists.
Oh yeah.
And in a few weeks, so
they'll come back to normal.
A lot of them will be exiting.
You will get your life back.
But in the off season, it's great. In the winter,
pretty much all of the East Coast is like that, you know?
Yeah. But it's a really quiet location, so I'm fortunate in that regard. And plus, being on the Cape, you can grab a radio and go to the beach.
Oh, that's nice.
And there's nothing in between you and Europe.
Cool.
So AM DXing is really big with a lot of guys.
Oh yeah, where you're next to the ocean, it's easier than kind of here in Montreal, basically.
Yeah. Just the land in between, it just plays havoc. Cool. Propagation.
Well, thanks for being on this show.
Well, thank you, Joe.
And thanks for, I mean, it's really cool. That's an example of what I was saying. You know, people in the chat room are great. Well, in person, they're even better. So everybody needs to be here next year.
Yeah. Oh, well, Sheldon may think twice about that. I don't know. Darlene would definitely think twice about it. But it's a lot of fun, and yeah, I hope to be back next year.
Cool. Thanks for popping up on the show, saying hi. Now everybody knows, and we'll have the face behind the name.
Now they have the face, another face for radio. Well, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
You know, we're all like that. Well, thank you for what you did.
Thanks for being here. Well, you know, I like doing it. I mean, like I always say, if I wouldn't love the hobby, and I wouldn't be doing this, obviously. And without you guys, I wouldn't be here.
That's right. There's no show without
an audience.
Without the audience.
Thank you,
sir.
So, anybody else wants to be here now?
Sheldon, get on.
Sheldon.
You're going to get in there.
You're gonna.
Definitely.
I like the. I don't wanna.
Another one with a face for radio.
It looks like it looks like mommy. I don't want to do this.
Haven't we done this before?
I'm not sure.
Third time, eh?
Yeah.
Jeez.
This is
We've avoided the rain today.
This is great.
We set ourselves up today with a special tent and everything. Weather forecast was for a thunderstorm, and
so they must be God for shortwave.
Maybe. Well, something.
There's something. There's some kind of energy.
It's RF.
RF. We called our friends at HARP in Alaska and said, "Hey, can you just stop the rain for this afternoon?"
Zap it from Alaska.
So what's new? What's happening with the? First of all, okay, wait. We're gonna start with first things.
Whoa!
First things first. He's going away with the camera now.
Yes.
It
wasn't Paul
focusing on the girls again.
Yeah, it wasn't Paul for this. You know, most of the times it's Paul or my feet. But, so thank you for, of course, doing this. I mean, it's great because you take the time to get all of us, beautiful women in the background.
Yes.
Beautiful women in the background.
Janice back there, Ella back there.
And
photo bombing in the back.
let's check the view count, see if it goes higher.
Yes.
No, but Eric's got this really cool SDR radio going on here. I'm explaining it to Ella. So.
Yes, we're listening to Radio Romania.
What a surprise!
Wow.
Romania on 11850.
Our neighbors next door here are Romanian. So crank it up and maybe they'll hear a favorite tune or something. Oh no, but we can't play music. I forgot.
Yeah.
YouTube doesn't like that.
No, monetization will be. So thanks for doing this. I mean, it's an effort and
a lot of the people out there in the chat room probably realize that they may be in a place where they don't know anybody else that does what they're doing, that sits around and tunes weird radio stations and stuff. So when we can find a group of people in your own town or your area that you can get together and sit down and talk about what you do, it's kind of neat, because otherwise it's kind of a lonely, individualistic type of activity. So this is a way of kind of bringing those people with a common interest together, and meeting people, meeting new friends. So many of us here have known each other for, we were talking about that before, 25, 30 years. We've known each other, and it was radio that brought us together.
Absolutely. It's a way to make new friends.
Yeah.
And it's really good to have events like this also, like the barbecue.
Yeah.
What's happening with CIDX?
Well,
and what is it all about?
Well, it is Canada's national radio club, but as you always say, we're open to membership around the world. We have, and thanks to what you do, we've got lots of new members from lots of different places. But we certainly invite everybody to take a look at what we do. We've been around since 1962.
Okay.
The club started in Western Canada,
and
then over the years we kind of spread across the country to having sort of an Eastern Canada and a Western Canada division. And so it's as I said, it's a national club. We call ourselves general coverage, because we don't only talk about shortwave, but we do medium wave, FM, scanners, utility stations, I want to call them you do, QSL cards. We have a ham radio column, which was something pretty foreign for DX clubs. Like ham radio was like a whole other thing out there. And
most shortwave clubs don't dabble in the amateur side.
But we started to, we were talking about this with some of the people before. There was a period going back, I guess now about 10, 15 years, where new equipment started to come out that was ham equipment, ham transceivers, but they were general coverage. Used to be a time when you bought a ham transceiver, it only let you tune and transmit on the ham bands.
Yes, absolutely.
But then they started taking full-blown receivers. You can't transmit on the other frequencies, but you transmit on your ham bands, but you can tune to all these other frequencies. So the term general coverage started to come out. And that's what we classify CIDX as, is it's a general coverage radio club. So you can talk DC to daylight, we call it. Anything that's radio out there, we can talk about. So we invite people to participate, to send in what they're hearing, send us articles, ask questions, send us samples of what they're listening to. Just so much stuff that you get jammed into that bulletin every month. So And it's like really inexpensive, like I always say. And we certainly welcome anybody to ask us for a sample copy of what we do. It's an electronic newsletter once a month. It's usually 60 to 70 pages of stuff a month, so there's plenty of stuff to entertain you in there.
Cool.
So yeah, it's out there. We'd certainly like you to take a look at it. And we like having, we see so many new people here, and I think the new people will get some useful information out of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Help you find where to look for stations, what other people are hearing. There's articles sometimes on equipment, antenna reviews, tips on improving things, what have you. I mean, it's anything radio. I mean, it's there.
Cool.
So I see a couple of our members up there. Steve Wood is down in Cape Cod. He's out there. Hi, Steve. And,
he's saying, "Hey, Brian, I know you live down the street, but we've never met.
You've never met.
Have to get a coffee some Saturday along with some of the other Cape DXers."
There you go. There you go. So wave to. He's right in the camera.
Okay, Steve.
Yeah, from the Cape Cod DXers.
Yeah, you could have your Cape Cod chapter of the Boston area DXers.
There is one. There is one. It's the Cape Fields.
That
right now,
nobody said they are. No.
Nobody said they are.
If anybody out there is from Toronto, let us know.
Yeah,
you're
let
from
us
Toronto.
know. We've got a few from Ontario, but
yeah. And, we have one person who's joined CIDX in the last year from Brockville, Ontario.
Yes.
Who found out about us through this YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
It works, and
There's a question on the chat if back issues of the bulletin are available.
We do have the back issues, but as we always say, we will give you a sample copy if you want to look at it. But we do like people to be members to get. But if you're a member, I mean, we will give you some back issues if you want them. But some of the stuff obviously is time dated, so sensitive. So.
But it could be interesting. But obviously, a lot of the bulletin in the past is paper, so it would be time
way
consuming.
Back,
we went way back, but still, it'd be time consuming to kind of digitize them.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't go back to the paper ones. That's 2005. We went digital.
It would be kind of nice to see a messenger from 1982.
Oh, we have some old ones here somewhere. They're around. But it used to be 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper.
Oh, cool.
Or by 4. No, the printed version that we sent out to people was. No, I thought it was 8 by 11. Okay, but it was Gestetnerd, and it was if anybody knows what that word means, I'd be surprised. And stapled and sent out by the mail, and then it got condensed and it was in a little booklet form. Okay. But that was very time consuming and costly, postage and printing and putting it all together. So 2005 we decided let's bite the bullet here and we're going to go to a PDF, and we did it. And that's cool. We lost a total of 2 members when we did that. They were guys who didn't have computers, and they said, "It's okay, we understand why you're doing this," and off they went. But other clubs followed, but some of them it took a very long time to do it. One of the major ones, NASWA, just did it recently.
Okay.
They had talked about it for a long time, but it's the way to go. I mean, it's the way to get information to people quickly. We can put color photos in, we can put hot links, we can put videos. We have so much more stuff that we can put into an electronic bulletin that we just couldn't possibly do with a printed bulletin.
Oh, absolutely.
So so that's why I think you're getting a really interesting product, a lot of information jammed into it for $10 a year.
Yep.
I mean, what more can you ask for?
And we're talking about Glenn Hauser. That has been sharing a lot of stuff from the bulletin. Actually.
Yes, I think he likes what we've been doing, and some people said, well, why do you even it doesn't cost you much to do this now? Why do you even charge a membership fee?
Yeah.
Well, anybody can go out and buy a magazine or subscribe to a magazine, but you're not a part of that organization. You're not a member.
Because you're a club member.
In this, you are a member. You are a part of this group of people, and we don't have a lot of expenses, but so we charge the nominal fee, and everybody knows that, hey, I'm a CIDX member. I'm a part of this group. So that's what that's why we do it. So. And
we have the killer dog.
Yeah, she's barking away in the back there. Yeah, she gets excited. She's not calm like Paul.
No, Paul is incredible. Just quickly, Gerald Monte from Santo Domingo. Nice to have you here.
Nice.
Captain Skywave Schedules. Nice to have you on board. Don't drink too much.
You showed them the
It won't
shortwave,
be,
right?
It won't be Sheldon's problem.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah, I'll show it again because at the beginning, not everybody was there. I've got
Yes.
the
Original.
thanks to Michaela Mage. I have the from British Columbia, the Shortwave beer.
Actually, I wonder how they got that name.
I don't know.
You think maybe
There's
the
like
owner?
waves.
Maybe, yeah, it's got actual radio waves on it.
So, you know.
We should find out who the owner is.
Actually, and you know what? It's funny because that's
Phillips. That's
It's
right.
like, you know, what
I didn't
is-
notice that.
You bought a tube and a beer.
Yeah.
So, thanks again.
Yes,
This is
neat.
great. And of course, I'll be drinking that with a little surprise that Brian Penny has.
Yes.
Brought us
Be
next
sure to
show.
see the next Friday show.
There's
I'm just gonna get
something
Something
different.
special.
So, quickly.
Who else we have?
Randy, Riverside, California. Hello there. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to answer questions really today.
Somebody just ate burgers and hot dogs. Well,
Danny Shortwave Radio DX.
could have been here.
So yeah, it's
Wherever
like,
you are. You know, we were just talking about that. We would love you guys to, like, some of them do it. They tell us where they are. But
Yeah.
a lot of them don't.
No, a lot of them
We
don't.
really like to know where all you
Yeah.
guys are, you know.
You're lucky that I have a great memory.
Yes, you do.
Because the amount of people that don't say it, but I remember where you are.
Yeah.
You know, and it's growing every week.
Yeah.
You know.
And the other thing too, we were talking to Brent about that. Quite often, and we think because we have a lot of new people, they're working with new radios, they're learning. Sometimes guys will check into the chat room and they'll say, "Oh, I'm hearing this station on this frequency." So we
Yeah.
picture a bunch of people going and trying to tune their radios, and
Yep.
they're getting on the frequency and they're saying, "I can't. Why? How
I
come they're
can't-
hearing
why
it and
come
I'm
they're-
not?"
yeah, absolutely.
Well, maybe the guy's in Asia or somebody's in Europe,
Yep.
and you're in North America, and it's just not going to work for you.
Absolutely.
So if people do post a message about, "Oh, I'm hearing this station on this frequency," if you just tag it and say, like, you know, Brian in Cape Cod, or
Yeah.
some guy in England, or
Yeah.
somebody in France, or you just get in that habit of saying where you are when you're
Yeah.
hearing something, then everybody else will know, oh, he's in the same area as me, I can try that,
Yeah.
you know, and maybe get the same thing. But if
Absolutely.
we don't know where you are, some new
And
people especially,
even
might-
if you said it, you know, once at the beginning of the show,
yeah,
and you talk about something an hour and a half later, well, an hour and a half later, we might just not remember
Yeah.
necessarily. So a little something, just saying, hey, from
yeah. We
Here.
say hi to Terry Cook, who's saying hi to me.
yeah, Harvey Wenz from Connecticut. Nice to have you here.
Yeah.
There's this Eric Cottrell guy that I don't know exactly who he is. There's Radio Romania on 1150 at a barbecue.
There you go. Yeah.
Canadian Treasure Hunter.
Wow.
VE7FIE.
A VE7?
Saying hi.
Out in
So
BC.
British Columbia.
Yeah.
British Columbia.
See, people are getting into the habit already. So that's good.
Yeah, that's nice. That's
Tell
nice.
us where you are. Cornwall, UK.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
cool to have everybody here.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Croft, nice to have you here.
So tomorrow you're not going to do international radio.
No,
report.
tomorrow is an exception to the rule. I thought that maybe you need that extra space in the studio.
Well, a bunch of these guys are going to be there tomorrow.
So you know, I thought, well, let's take a Sunday off.
Janice,
I mean, you
Janice
know,
will be coming in to turn the radio on.
I'll miss the paycheck.
Yeah, well,
but-
right. Yeah. Well, we do have paid vacation, I think. So.
Oh, okay. Oh
Great.
man.
No, we appreciate everybody being here and all you guys and women. There's some women out there
Yeah,
too, we know. We thank you for checking in with Jill every week. It's great, and for what you're doing is just great as well. You know, it's bringing all these people who are out there thinking there's nobody else in the world playing around with radios like this, and this proves to us
Yep.
that they're all over the place. out
Yeah,
there.
and you know, it's. I mean, your neighbor is not necessarily a shortwave listener.
Yeah.
Maybe even in the you know, in a certain distance from your home, maybe nobody's playing with shortwave radios.
Yeah.
But there are some people playing with shortwave radios, and I think what a show like this is fun for is that it actually brings everybody around. You know, the one that I don't remember his name, but there's always this guy checking in from the Montreal subway. He's watching on his phone while he's commuting from work going home, and it's like, wow, you're watching this in the subway going home. It's just funny.
Well, I find it funny here though too. We're in a residential area, and there's this weird loop sticking up in the air over the fence, and there's probably neighbors looking around going, what the hell is going on over there?
What's all those people over there in that funny thing?
Some spy agency going on.
There's this guy in a blue shirt talking to himself somehow.
Yeah. Well, Gilles' house, he's there and he's got floodlights going, and he's sitting talking to himself, and the neighbors, I'm sure, are looking around like, oh, don't worry about him, he does that every week.
Last fall I was doing...
That's right.
Last fall I was doing one from outside, and it was late fall with a beautiful day, so the sun goes down quite early, and I have like these 5 big spots on me, and all through the show there's a woman that lives on the other side in the backyard that just keeps looking and saying, what the hell's happening on that?
Probably thinks there's a movie being filmed in there or something.
Well, there's a couple of times I hear people talking to themselves before I realize they have one of those Bluetooth.
Oh yeah.
Things, and they're talking on their phone.
Those people are locked up now.
But what's nice today is that now they are incognito, because it's a nut or it's somebody talking on the phone. You don't know.
Right.
You don't know. They're all normal, kind of.
Yeah.
Like us, we're all normal.
Yep.
Radio geeks.
We have somebody. She's going to get really embarrassed, but you need to talk to Ella. Because Ella she has a really unique pastime. You need to tell these people.
She did share that unique pastime.
Well, that doesn't matter.
Radio experience.
Come.
On,
we're going to let Ella come in here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Tell you about her radio connection too.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Grab a seat.
I will. Thank you.
Oh no! There goes the camera.
There goes the camera.
Are we back?
So, yeah, we'll be
It's a good thing I don't wear heels.
It is positioned in a very special,
And I'd probably
very unique,
in the
special
wrong
way.
direction, so that's all
anyways,
good.
it's okay.
I'm
So,
safe
hi.
now. I'm
Hey,
sitting
hello.
down. Hello. How are
How
you? Good.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise. All right.
We've met before,
Yeah.
but
Just
let's
for the
pretend.
show,
Let's
we just met. What
Who
did
are
you say
you?
your name was again?
Gilles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And anyways, I
What's
probably
my name?
will ask you, Ella.
Very good.
Yeah, but next year I'm going to say hi.
Same thing. Hi. Yeah. You look familiar. Have I seen you somewhere before?
Maybe. So,
Here we are at the barbecue.
yes, we are.
And it's great.
You're having fun?
I am.
For a kind of a non-radio, officially geeky radio.
I have my own type of geek.
Oh yeah.
But I am interested in radio, but I am a Scrabble geek. I play competitive Scrabble.
Okay.
And it's lots of fun.
You've been all around.
I've been around. I traveled through North America for it. I just got back from a 5-day tournament in Reno.
Wow.
It was really good. Lots of fun.
And
And also Alaska.
Well, that wasn't for Scrabble. That was just for fun because I was kind of on the West Coast, so it was a good excuse to keep going north.
Tell them your ranking. What's your ranking?
Yeah, what's your ranking?
We're around 560th in North America. Which doesn't mean a whole lot. Depends.
Well,
That's pretty good.
I think that's good, honestly.
And I'm high ranking in Quebec because there's not a whole lot of Quebec players.
Yeah.
It's all
Play
good.
Scrabble
It's
in
fun.
French?
I do not. I play Scrabble in English only.
There is a French version.
There is a French version. There's a German version. You can play it in any language.
Yeah, pretty much.
In fact, a friend of mine has a board in Icelandic.
I remember.
You remember?
No, because I didn't tell you earlier because I said no, I'm going to say that.
Okay.
You were talking
remember?
about the Scrabble, and I was saying I remember when I was young, and
I remember being young
my
too.
parents bringing the Scrabble board out, and I was like, oh no, please, not that.
No, I promise I'll be good.
No, actually, I admire it because that means
Makes you smart.
you're
It means-
very fluent in.
It means I know how to spell words. I may not know what they mean, but I know if they take an S at the end of them.
That is something I never thought of.
And the
right.
You
scores, man,
know.
she'll kick your butt.
I will kick your butt in my flip-flops.
But tell the people your radio connection.
Yeah.
Your first
So,
radio
what's the radio
connection.
connection?
Well, I worked for some Montreal stations in the accounting department for a number of years, and
Okay.
I also was part of a travel show for a number of years, doing all kinds of things, broadcasting, research, photography, and I did quite a few trips with them.
Oh, that's cool.
Travel's a pastime of mine as well. It's a big passion.
Okay.
So I travel when I can.
What stations were you working with?
The travel one was travel radio, and the
Okay.
other ones were Montreal stations, Show'em FM, Mix 96,
Okay.
and CJD.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that is cool.
Good memories,
So there
good
is
experience.
some.
There is a
There is
radio
some
connection.
radio connection.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
you're-
Of course she's a radio connection.
and I have all these radio friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And I
it's
don't
all
want to
good.
be the only YL at the barbecue. So.
Yeah.
Now I know what YL means.
Unfortunately, I don't think it will work as a word in Scrabble.
No, well, no, it wouldn't.
Stands for young lady.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of us, as you see.
Young lady.
I think it's you and myself, and
That's
that's
it.
about it.
I bring my
Absolutely.
sidekick.
That's
I
it.
mean, you know, I feel old when I look at you.
That's
at
it.
you
But she's
two women.
inside.
So yeah, it's kind of nice.
It's fun.
Cool.
It's fun.
Yeah, Ella's, she's cute, she's smart, she's funny, and she understands all us geeks. So
Keep talking, Janice. I like this.
she gets along just fine. Ella's great. You can bring her anywhere. She fits in with everybody.
That's true.
Cool. She always had
Just
the.
like a chameleon.
She always had the right word for everything.
That's
How long have we been friends now? Since what? The radio?
17 years.
17 years. There we go.
Cool.
And she still puts up with me.
That's right. I
God
do.
bless her.
Do you listen to the radio? Like, you know, AM, FM? Any stations that you tune in at home?
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah. Any station in particular you say, oh, I like to listen to, I don't know, CJD or Show'em or whatever?
I like Show'em. I still like
Show'em.
Show'em. I like CJD for news and information. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I stay loyal.
You stay loyal?
Mm-hmm.
You're one of those that there's like dust everywhere because you never change that dial?
No, I dust every week, so there's no dust.
Okay, cobwebs within
now
the radio.
now you know
because,
about my household
you know,
habits here. No, cobwebs
So-
don't live in my house.
Nothing like a clean Scrabble lady.
That's, well, on the air anyway.
Well, on the air anyway. That's okay. Whoop.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Well, it's nice to have you on board.
Thank you.
Ella.
It's been a pleasure, Chef.
I will remember your name next year, hopefully.
We'll find out.
Because if you come next year and it's like, hey, Chef, like everybody
And
does,
you'll go,
I'm like,
"Hi."
hey. That's always the first. Come on, Rent. So thanks for being on. And it was really
Always
nice.
good.
Guess
All
from
right.
Brockville. Next.
Man, you're just
I
So-
hear
goodness
you talk.
moving. You want to hear me
Yeah, now
talk?
he's in the really. I gotta.
I gotta.
So I'll ask you one first question. Very important.
Yes.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Only one.
In Scotland, it's pronounced Dali,
Dali?
but I pronounce it phonetically Dalglish because it has two L's.
Dalglish. So you'll ask when you mention it, you'll say Dalglish.
Dalglish. Yes.
Dalglish.
That's right.
Okay, so next time I see you in the chat room, I'll be able to say something that is close to your name.
Oh no, don't worry about it. It's a tough name. for a
I've
lot
been
of
stopping
people.
at Brent.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
It's
Yeah.
like, hey, Brent.
Yeah, I like
So
that.
that's another guy from the chat room, and he's from Brockville,
Yes.
Ontario.
Yeah, I'm just 2.5 hours west of here, actually.
Okay.
So it worked out pretty well. I came in last night just to avoid the traffic today, but yeah, it's been really nice to come and meet everyone, and hi everyone online as well. A lot
Another
of
face that
yeah,
you guys will have now with a name.
yeah. So a lot of familiar names online that I like to see every week, and I tune into Jill's show, and I just want to congratulate you, Jill, too, though, on the great show that you have. And
Thanks.
you know, it's very obvious from all the people you're reaching around the world, and so I just wanted to take the opportunity to recognize that and thank you. And
Well, thank you very
yeah,
much.
and congratulations on all your tremendous success with this channel.
Well, it's cool. It's, no, and I'm trying to have it better and better all the time. So hopefully the content's interesting and the live shows too.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But you know, and like many perhaps online as well, it really brought me back into the hobby.
I get that a lot.
You know, and I was very active in the 70s, but left it for a number of years, but just recently came back into it, and you're really a big reason why. So
once again, you know, I wouldn't have the opportunity to meet you personally and all
Well,
these
that is
people
cool.
here as
Thanks
well.
also for you and Brian from coming down and saying hi also at the same time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Really nice.
My
Really
pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
My pleasure. Yeah.
So what's your setup? What radio do you use? And
Yeah, well, right now I just bought within the last year a Texan PL660 that I use, and following your recommendation, actually I got an SDR Play RSP1A.
Everybody's saying hello to you, Brent.
Oh, hey guys, hey, nice to see you out there. But anyway, yeah, so I'm really enjoying the SDR and just finding a lot of cool stations. One recently, I was DXing Radio New Zealand, and
cool.
what happened was interesting. Unfortunate and sad when the mosque attacks were occurring. I was tuned in at that time, and was able to do a QSL or a radio report based on the events that were happening. As unfortunate as they were, it was still kind of a surreal moment to kind of experience that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's part of radio, right? And
absolutely,
it's just really interesting and almost surreal sometimes that you can have those experiences. So
it's interesting because that's the fun part of radio. Also, the that moment when you, out of the blue, unexpectedly tune into something and you're like, oh wow.
Oh, I know.
Kind of cool.
Yeah. And
how long have you been listening? So I mean, you stopped for a while, but when did you start the hobby officially?
Really seriously, about 1976.
Okay.
And we actually had our own local radio club for a while, called Southern Ontario Radio Club, or SORC. Was the acronym, and we had it was a big deal at the time. We had our own mailbox, and we, just as Sheldon was saying, we used to get Stetner things, and you know, a lot of it was manual labor, but I really enjoyed it and really loved it, and so it's really nice to be part of CIDX and part of a bigger group now, and once again, just a pleasure to be here.
Well, that's cool. It's cool to have you here too.
Thank you so much.
In person.
Thank you.
So that's kind of cool. So you staying a little bit longer, or you're?
Yeah, I'm probably heading out in a little bit, but we're gonna stop by the International Radio show tomorrow, hopefully. Yeah, gonna stop by there and check out the studio, and I encourage anyone who has the opportunity to stream that program. Another great program in addition to Jill's channel here, and Jill's been a big part of that program as well. So
that's a lot of fun to be there too. It's something that I had the opportunity. It all started with the opportunity to be there once for the 30th anniversary show.
Oh yeah.
And so I went there, and I had offered my assistance because sometimes Sheldon was it was impossible for him to make the show, and it's actually easier to be at least two-person because you got one guy that controls.
Yes.
And it makes it easier to manage everything. So I had offered Sheldon, hey, you know what? Maybe I could go in for a couple of weekends, so Sunday mornings, and you can show me around a little bit how it works, so that we can, if you're out, I'll replace you.
Oh, okay.
And it started like that, and I had to replace Sheldon once or twice, and I told Sheldon, you know what? You guys need somebody regularly. It's kind of fun, and I think it'd be fun to be there.
We've been trying to seduce you for years.
Oh,
we succeeded.
Right.
Playing hard to get. Oh yeah, you can come do the show.
I'm always playing hard to get.
Get Jill, get Jill, get Jill.
Yeah, it worked.
It worked.
I'm always playing hard to get.
Good strategy.
You got him on the air.
But it's nice to be there. It's a fun show to be there, and it changed my routine on Sundays. Also, it gave me a kind of a Sunday downtown Montreal, ending up with a beer in a bar somewhere with friends, and kind of a fun Sunday.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it worked out in many ways.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's fun to do the show. I actually like it. And people laugh at me because I always tell them, you don't realize how for a YouTuber, having to get up to go to a station at 10:30 a.m. is early in the morning.
Yeah, right.
Because they're all like, come on, I go to work at 5 a.m. and it's like, no, you don't understand YouTubers. They don't get up at 5 a.m. They might go to bed at 5 a.m. because they went to somewhere with friends, but
right on. Right on.
But it's just so funny.
Well, it's great. It's great you've made that commitment, and it's really what you bring to the show is really interesting.
Cool.
And, yeah, really well done.
Well, I think the interaction's nice. That's what I was. That was part of what Sheldon told me, and what I was telling Sheldon also. It's like we have a great back and forth conversation in the live show and in the international radio report show. It's like natural. It's like
it is.
It's meant to be.
Very natural. Yeah.
And I think this helps a lot. I mean, the fact that now for like 6 years I've been blabbing away for hours at a time kind of helps you have something to say. I mean, of course, knowing the radio hobby also in general.
Yeah, well, it certainly shows.
Do you listen to local AM FM stations there in Prague?
Yeah, I've actually moved away from it. I'm listening to a lot of medium wave now with the SDR Play, which is really fun to visually see the whole spectrum.
This is amazing.
Yeah, it's really
fun.
It's
the best part.
Oh yeah, and
there's one.
But I'm listening to. I'm starting to do more DXing, and I actually trying to see how many stations in North America and Central America I can pick up. So
this is cool.
Anyway, just moving into a little different area.
That's a nice level where you live.
Not great. I have to admit, but I'm doing what I can. I've ordered a loop, so I really appreciate hearing your good experience with the loop that you got recently. So.
I mean, like I said, it's not a miracle antenna.
Yeah.
But it did improve enough that it's worth it. Even if it stays noisy, you'll still have a better experience. And on the lower frequencies especially, it's amazing.
Oh, that's great.
It's really amazing.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting, what I've ordered is actually an MFJ 1886 loop, but it hasn't arrived yet. Same principles, so I'll be happy to share any experiences I have with that.
Oh, please do.
Yeah,
please
do. just in case other people are considering going with a loop, I'd be interested.
About starting a YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, no.
Brent's YouTube channel.
Yeah, I don't know. You're too hard an act to follow, I'm afraid. But no, thanks for the suggestion. So I should let somebody else pop in here. But
thanks so much. Popping up.
Yeah, for
sure.
He
didn't want to, but look at that.
Yeah,
he was brave.
Yeah,
he did it perfect.
I did the best I could.
Another great person to meet.
Thank you so much.
Hasn't been up by you. Nice. Eric up.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, thanks,
Eric,
Joe.
Yeah, Eric.
Come on up, Eric. Get over here, Eric.
You look healthy.
Come on, Eric. Going around the table. Go, Eric. Go, Eric. Go. Your turn, buddy.
Hello, Mr. Eric.
Hello. Bonjour, hi.
Bonjour, hi. Comment vas-tu?
Yes, I can tell I'm in Montreal. Go into the store. Bonjour, hi.
Bonjour, hi. Yeah, it's pretty much a standard here. So how you been?
Yeah, they don't want you to do that, but
no,
anyway.
it's like So how have you been doing on the radio side?
Well, I've been doing some projects mainly with VHF, UHF
pretty soon I'm going to be able to do that, Janice.
I belong to a couple of sites. One is Radio Reference, which I really like.
Yeah, it is a great site.
And Scan New England. And on the Scan New England site, I basically am doing detective work on some of the commercial trunked radio systems.
Okay.
When somebody who has a scanner like the Uniden scanner or the Whistler scanner that has, you can get updates.
Yeah.
It's the community to Radio Reference that feeds the information in, so you don't have to figure it out for yourself.
Chris Alpha Tango is saying that there's a cute skull lady.
The ratings just went up again.
Yes.
No, we were joking how Eric's been in the background the whole time.
Yeah.
So now I'm in the background. Where's your mouse, Eric? I can't find a mouse with him.
Oh, I use the track point. See, I'm a long time IBM Lenovo guy, and I'm used to the.
But you do get used to it.
Yes. Oh, I turned the mouse pad off. It just interfered. So it's basically listening using decoders, and people listen to the various talk groups and they figure out, well, that talk group's an ambulance company, and so it's really fun doing detective work. I still use radios such as this old AOR 86 8200, and also there's the ICOM.
Brought the ICOM along also. So this is the R30, right?
Yes, this is the R30.
R30 receiver.
And they're about the same size. This is a little bit heavier and a little bit more wild shielded. And of course, this is, I don't know when this came out, but this is like 1990s, I think 2000.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember looking at it when I was wondering what I would purchase at the time. What do you say are the good and bad points of the ICOM?
Well, the major negative point is that it doesn't have DMR. And I found when doing, some work, this is actually better. If you take the antenna off and turn the attenuator on, you have to be pretty close to a radio site.
Absolutely.
And so you can kind of figure out where sites are.
Yeah.
Whereas this has a little bit of leakage. The other thing, like I was mentioning, is it has kind of a weird antenna connector.
Yeah, that is always something you don't want because it's difficult to find an antenna.
And you basically have to get something that will hit on the shoulder. See, this antenna came with it.
Yeah, that is
and
weird.
It has kind of a wider shoulder on it. But otherwise, it works
They
pretty
should have
good.
kept the BNC form.
Yeah.
It's such a standard
But everybody nowadays has the SMA, and I have some of my scanners is a really, you get the old Radio Shack 800 megahertz antenna, and that's BNC. Good. But I do some HF stuff. I mainly do utilities and radio program listening.
Okay.
For instance, earlier today, one thing with your loop, you'll be able to get VLF stuff.
Yeah.
And I noticed I can get Cutler, Maine on 24 kilohertz. You should try it on your loop.
Actually, I didn't think about it earlier, but I can't try it on my loop because when I purchased a loop, he came back to me saying that the FM and medium wave stations in Montreal are so strong.
Oh,
I had to put two filters.
Put the filters in.
A low pass and a high pass filter.
Okay.
So I don't have any. My reception below 1.7 megahertz is really bad.
Well, when I go down to the Winter SWL Fest, I bring the Wellbrook with me. And so I have a portable setup using a speaker stand, and I built an adapter. But we put it at the hotel, and we're right across the road from Roxborough, which is a really strong medium wave site.
Okay.
So I bought from Clifton Labs this medium wave reject filter that only rejects the medium wave. The problem is the guy went out of business.
Wow.
DX Engineering was going to pick up some stuff, but they didn't pick up the medium wave reject stuff. So it is possible to get something to reject just the medium wave bands, and you would be able to recover the long wave.
What I would have enjoyed is the ability, if the construction of the antenna would have been made in a way that I could remove that.
So it's built into the antenna?
Built in, yeah.
Oh,
it's all built into the package because it has the amplifier.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's built with the amplifier, so there's nothing I can do. I can't switch them off or remove them temporarily.
Okay.
So that would be probably the negative side of it.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. In my Bobby Burgess is trying
the Inmarsat aerial stuff.
I like to try that. You need a modified GPS patch antenna on a piece of metal. There's a talk about listening to the various services on there. Yeah, one of my other projects is on VHF. I'm listening to what is called VHF Data Link 2, VDL2. It's a higher speed form of ACARS.
Okay.
And there's a program to decode it, and I can, with the SDR play, there's programs that will support it using Linux.
Okay.
I use a Linux program for that.
You're right, guys. Radio Exterior de España is off the air on all frequencies.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, no problem.
People are all talking about how Spain is off. It's off on all frequencies here.
Were they due to go off, or?
No, but they've been. It's been one of those services that's off from time to time for a couple of days. Then it's back, or then it's only on certain frequencies. And it's like, what the hell's happening over there?
Of course, occasionally I listen to Radio Romania International, and I do some DRM stuff.
DRM
no,
stuff.
I'm mainly like some of the digital stuff. I remember years ago, Deutsche Welle had DRM on 3995, and it was just below the decoding threshold. And then one day it was above it, and I got music in stereo over shortwave. So that was kind of.
I'll have to check that on maybe on lower frequencies when they open, because with my loop I have stronger signals and a little less noise. Maybe I should try it again on some of those transmissions.
Deutsche Welle I think isn't broadcasting there anymore. But other stuff.
There's a couple of ones in the 49 meter band, I think.
I got some voice of Nigeria.
Yeah, the one on 15120 is probably the easiest one because of the low bit rates.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I like a little bit of, I dabble in all kinds of different radio.
That's nice.
I've been a ham since 1978.
Quite active as a ham?
What?
Were you very active as a ham?
Yeah, mainly VHF, UHF.
You do satellite stuff?
Yes, I did for a while.
Okay.
I gave talks on some of the early pack sets.
Okay.
AO16. I like to get back into that.
Cool.
I've been a member of BADX for years. So, and I used to work into commercial two-way radio for a while, but then I got a job in computers that paid double what the radio shop paid, and you
go where the money is when
but it was
enables
fun.
you to buy more radios.
Yes, and that's my problem. Although it's funny,
is it really a problem?
Yeah, because I kind of say, well, I have too many of them, and then I see a picture on Radio Reference of this, somebody who has a whole bunch of handheld scanners, and I have a few old ones I don't really use anymore, but not as much as what I see listed.
You never have too many radios.
Yeah, you can't have, and some of them serve certain purposes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
A friend of mine, I bought, for instance, a Kenwood dual bander that has D-Star on it, and I have a Yaesu handheld that has the Fusion, and I thought that was unusual until I met somebody else in the area that does Fusion and D-Star, and he carried around both as well. So that's one thing that, unfortunately has been the promise in amateur radio, is a radio that will do all the modes, so you don't need multiple radios. That's like I would really like the SDR 8600 to cover, you know, DMR.
And I believe with some firmware upgrades they would be able to do
you'd be able to do it with firmware updates. You just need the space to put the code in, and there's probably licensing issues as
absolutely.
well.
That's the problem with anything that is proprietary, because they gotta pay someone to have that mode enabled.
Although a lot of the digital modes use the DVSI decoder, and it is capable of doing different the different modes. I have a little USB dongle that's basically one of those codecs. And I have modified programs to decode like DMR using that. You just have to set the right modes in the decoder to do D-star and stuff like that. You know, I've heard of some of the other digital stuff for HF, like the free DV, but I haven't really used it very much.
Cool.
So I like to listen a little bit of everything. Not really a DXer, mainly a program listener, and of course I like BBC World Service. I picked this up in 1990 over in the UK. I saw a tag. It's made in Ireland, so
it's official. It's not not one of those things that you buy that from some country, made in China, and like
I also like this. I listen to my local FM station, the BBC, but occasionally when they're on shortwave to East Africa, I can pick them up and I'll listen to.
Well, that's nice, because the more you have diversity in your hobby and different things that you like, the more it keeps it alive. Because one night you'll turn on the radio, it's like, no, I don't want to listen to international shortwave broadcast today. I'll listen to that other thing.
And my hobbies are like that. Like I'll do them for like a year or two, and then do something else, and then come back to the first one, you know. But cool. Really, and it's great when I can do my computer stuff in with that, because I do code development, you know, software programming for a profession, and I have written some.
You can tweak your own stuff.
If it's open source, I've done that. I've helped with decoders for the old analog LTR trunk radio stuff, and that was fun.
It's nice. It's always nice to learn more, and
I hope a lot of, you know, even though this is the official shortwave channel, I know you do VHF.
Yeah, the VHF. I need to get back into that.
Yeah, so it's, you know, it's radio. It's all radio.
It's all radio. Absolutely, it's all radio. And I need to, I want to dabble a little more into some of those digital stuff, like using an SDR and using some of the software that you can add to...
Well, one thing about the SDR Play that is interesting is they announced that in future versions they're going to allow plugins.
That's going to be really, really
and that will be interesting, because I would like to do some special plugins to decode the various things. Like, that's one of the advantages somebody has that uses like the SDR software. This guy over in Russia has done a lot of plugins to do various things.
I need to check out with my, you know, I got a couple of RTL SDR dongles laying around. You know, they're not extraordinary, but they're okay for some stuff.
They're okay,
And I was thinking of maybe using one of the PCs I got at home that I'm not using to do anything, and set it up as DR Sharp, the RTL dongle, and the plugins, and play around with the capabilities of all of that. I think it could be a lot of fun. Cool. Well, thanks for
thank you.
being on the show.
Well, thank you for coming. I enjoyed coming up.
Well, I think it's something that's regular now.
I like Canada, and
it's always nice to have you.
Nice
more than meet up
you.
also.
And you're doing good work with the official SWL.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Yeah. What's that face?
I have a radio question. Want me to ask you the radio question, or you don't want to?
Yeah, sure.
Give me a frequency to look up somebody.
Okay, the radio lady there wants to have a frequency to listen to or something.
Give me something to tune into.
So what are you guys are listening to right now? Any pirate stations?
No, I checked.
HF Underground?
I checked 6925, 6930, HF Underground, nothing.
Okay.
WWCR and 9350.
Yeah, that's
I was getting
standard.
Radio Marti on something else.
Yeah, Radio Marti is all over the place. Radio Marti is like
yeah, I know.
It's like Red or Stare.
Like CRI
in Spanish.
China Radio International.
About more interesting programs, hopefully.
Anything interesting on at this time? It's
2143.
2143.
Yeah.
Give me a freak, somebody. What's the frequency, Kenneth?
Nothing's coming up. So yes.
So I need a new radio.
Yeah.
Irene would say I need a new radio like I need a hole in the head. So XH.
You're aware she's watching.
I know she is.
And she's like, oh no, please, not another radio.
Not another radio, please. You just bought the Perseus. Don't buy another radio. But anyway.
Yeah.
XH. I want a decent portable. Okay. I don't really have a decent portable. I have the Sony ICF 7600.
John,
that's pretty good one. That's pretty good.
Which is good, but I want another one. Okay. So, XH Data or the Texan PL880.
I would go with the XH Data.
Why?
Because it has much more flexibility in the operating, including many bandwidths, which is very unique for a radio, with a portable radio.
Yep.
So when you're tuning in to some signals on shortwave, you can actually go with, look at that, so you got bandwidths, 6 kilohertz, 4 kilohertz, 3 kilohertz, 2.5, nice. 2, 1.8, 1. And in CW or when you're in single sideband, you got different bandwidths also that are adapted for single sideband listening. So you'll have even a 500 hertz one if you want to listen for Morse code, for example. It's very sensitive, very sensitive. I believe from a lot of what I've read on the 880, this is more sensitive, and it is very nice. The BFO for fine tuning is very well done. The display has RDS on FM. If you want to have FM, you got the airband. You got a decent radio that's very, very good at receiving what it, doing what it wants to do. And for the price, which is going to be easily half the price of an 880, you'll get that performs as good and that has more flexibility in the controls. That's pretty much what I have to say.
Thank you very much.
And you'll save money. You'll be able to save that $100 for another radio.
For another SDR.
Or another SDR.
Yeah, because there's always another radio.
She's going to go back home and she's going to say, you're never going to that shortwave thing again.
Or maybe she'll say, I want to come up next year.
Yeah, I want to be there, and when you're going to talk about buying a new radio, I'll be right there.
I'm going to stand on the other side of the camera, shaking my head. Okay.
Well, she should come over, because maybe we want to have the point of view of, the spouse that's going to talk about, okay, you want me to talk about radio? I'm going to talk about radio.
Well, I think everyone in the house, in the chat, who has a significant other, knows how that feels. Mine, I have to say, has been very supportive over the years. So
it's very interesting when
How many radios do you have in the house?
Oh, easily over a dozen.
I'm glad now because of my boss.
Easily.
Do you have your own man cave where you lock yourself down?
I do have a room which, when we bought our current house, that was one of the first projects I had done, which was to have half of the basement finished, and that's my location.
Okay.
You know, we're always relegated to the basement. That's fine.
Okay.
You know, we're always sent in the basement.
Okay. Well, you know, that's a lot of people are in the basement for some reason.
As a kid in the 70s, the only spot in my parents' house that I had room to set up a radio was in the unfinished, cold, non-heated, upstate New York portion of the basement.
Wow.
How did you survive the invasion of the zombies? Well, I was in my basement listening to the radio.
See that?
Dedication to the
When
hobby.
I came out, everything was over and I was alone.
That was it.
Dedication to the hobby.
Thanks, Joe.
Well, it's my pleasure, and nice to see you as usual.
We had 43 radios at one point, Steve and I.
ZX from Sanok, Poland, DXpeditions. Nice to have you here. Klaus in Germany, nice to have you here. So I got, Brian, I've got a Skywave schedule that says +1 for XH Data D08. He got one, and his favorite, he prefers it over his Texan PL 680-660.
Okay.
RF performance is great for the size.
Well, I'll get the XH data, and then if I'm not happy with that, I'll buy the Texan.
You'll
Because
rant.
we always need another radio.
You'll be able to rant. You'll rant in the chat room. I hate the radio.
Oh, yeah, I can rant, yes.
Yeah, the only thing you got to know is that it uses a very unique battery, which is the
I know, I saw
the 18650.
I saw your videos on it,
And my ranting isn't because, I mean, it's good. It
what is
does,
the lifespan? Do you know? I mean,
the only test that I've done officially is I turned it on at like 10 in the morning, and it was still running at 1 a.m.
okay,
the next.
that's a long time.
So
And you charge it within the radio, correct?
you can charge it within the radio.
Yep.
I purchased actually 4 of these batteries with a charger on eBay for like $20. And so I have 4 extra batteries, and I can charge them in the charger if I don't want to charge them in the radio.
I will ask you for that information.
So that is something that I've done that I kind of thought was a good idea.
Yeah.
Because the problem with that is that's the unique problem. I know a lot of people in the chat room always say, well, they're not difficult to find. I know they're not difficult to find, but still, if you're stuck in the middle of nowhere, you find AA batteries everywhere.
Right.
You will not find an 18650.
Not at all.
That's the only rant that I have. I do get it, the drift that they lasts longer than AA's.
I see Danny's shortwave comment, my basement is my man cave, including the boiler room. I love it.
Best are for medium wave DXing.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, cool.
So,
all right, guys.
Cool.
Thanks.
Cool. So, hey, we're pretty much.
Hey, ask for
Yeah,
some
you know, he's got.
technical advice on
He
yet
wants to
another
be a
radio.
star now. Well, you know, in a week or 2, he's going to have his own live show on YouTube.
Video killed the radio.
A penny for your thoughts.
Let's get all
So,
these jokes out of the way now.
Yes, I know, guys. The beautiful lady isn't tuning the radio anymore.
Just busted out.
Radio killer. Video killer radio star.
You'll get copyright.
I should have my own version where you know, a video helped the radio star. So, anyways, thanks everybody. We've been through the pretty much the audience. It's nice to be here for a 3rd year, and hope that you enjoyed this show. It's really nice that it didn't rain. So the next shows, of course, next show is next Friday. We will be live once again next Friday, August the 23rd. 20 UTC, and I will keep you up to date. But yes, starting around mid-September, we will have twice weekly show. We'll have a show on Fridays 20 UT and a show on Wednesdays at 0 UT. A little experiment that we'll try here. A different time. I know that you guys in Europe are going to say, well, you know, 0 UTC is kind of late. It's the idea is trying to get more people, maybe from North America or other regions of the world. I mean, some of you wake up at 6 a.m. to watch me. So it's kind of, you know, I'm sorry. I'm always thinking about, you know, really, you wake up at 6 a.m. But thanks for doing so, and thanks everybody for being here. It's always a pleasure. Always nice to have you guys. PayPal donations accepted, so I can buy new radios, or maybe feed Paul the cat. I know he's fat, but he still needs food. And I want to thank everybody. Or beer fund. You can, yeah, beer fun. Cat beer. Oh man.
Everybody together, we all say goodbye to everybody.
Yep. So 1, 2, 3.
Bye. Thanks for coming.
Take care, everyone. Stay safe. See you next week. Hope you enjoyed the show.